Evening everyone, how are you? Hope you're having a lovely week. It's Tuesday, isn't it? Yeah, sorry I was a bit absent last week. Just got a bit poorly, tummy bug, as you already know. Anyway, so tonight, it's so funny actually that I'm talking about this tonight because I've had one of those days. So tonight I'm talking about sort of what was my biggest manifesting shift and how I've done it and what that is. And I'm doing this live on a day when I've probably had the most amount of contrast and got myself into a bit of a stressy situation or stressy mindset. And then I reminded myself just after lunch about what I was talking about this evening, and I was like, oh God, I was like, of all the days. And to be honest, if I'm really honest with you, I nearly rearranged it because I thought I'm not in the right state of mind and I'm not in the right frame of mind to deliver it. But I obviously know what I'm doing in the sense that I know how to change that. So that's exactly what I did, and I'll tell you how I did that in a minute. But first of all, just to explain give you a bit of backstory about what my stressy day was about. So I'm launching my first ever program in April, the beginning of April, and it's been a long time coming, and that's because I've had a lot of learning to do, a lot of learning, marketing and the content, and just really lots of soul searching, lots of self development as well. Lots of work on me in order to be able to deliver it and to be able to put it together, and I'm really proud of it. Like, I know it's going to have an incredible effect on the people that choose to invest in the course and come and work with me. I'm keeping it very small. I'm going to be very small numbers because I want to be able to build a relationship, a good, sincere relationship with the people in that group. And be with them throughout their journey throughout it. And it's going to be 20 weeks, and there's lots of online study, and then lots of group coaching, and there's one-to-one coaching in it as well. So it's the full shebang, and I'm really proud of it. But along with that has come overwhelm in a way that I have never experienced it before. And I'm usually pretty good at dealing with overwhelm, because those of you that know me know I'm a pretty chilled out, laid back person. But today, whew! Today it rained down on me like a big old mountain of overwhelm, and it made me in a bad mood. I was a bit crabby. Mark was having a nightmare getting back from work, and trains were all over the place. Hey Victoria, trains were all over the place, and I was like irritated every time we answered the phone. I was like, I don't need to know where you are. So I was in that kind of state. And then I was trying to explain to him what I was doing and this marketing thing I was putting together, and anyway. So I just said, right, what do I need to do? Hey Sarah, well, how are you? What do I need to do to get myself out of this? And I thought I need to just completely go off piste, like I need to go off topic. And the way that I get my kicks nowadays is I listen to, there's a brilliant YouTube channel called Impact Theory. And the guy who he interviews very interesting, incredible, successful, brilliant people. And the interviews are always amazing. And I watched an interview tonight with John Arafsaf, he's a serial, very successful entrepreneur, but very beautiful man. And he has a company called Neurogym, which is all based, and it's all learning about neuroscience, which I'm super obsessed with. So I just watched that, and I just found it so interesting. I made loads of notes. Some of it was relevant to what I'm going to talk to you about tonight, so it was brilliant. And I just feel on top of the world again tonight because I indulged myself in something that took my mind completely off what I was doing. Yet I still thought, hey Julia, how are you, my darling? Hey Katie, Michelle, mwah, 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 mwah. So I indulged myself. It was sort of still on subject, but totally off subject and totally a different subject matter. So it completely took my mind off it. And I now feel amazingly in the right space to deliver this little message I've got for tonight. So you see, everything's always working out. And actually, in the whole stress of today, I realised how far I'd come. I realised, like, oh my God, like, this is actually happening. Like, there was a time when I didn't think I was ever going to get to this point, and I'm getting there. And in the final stages of putting everything together, it's very exciting, but it's also very scary. You know, because this kind of stuff makes you feel super vulnerable. Like, it's the stuff I like to teach. It's the stuff that I care deeply about. I care deeply about the effect it will have on the people that work with me. And so that comes with that comes a lot of vulnerability. So, but we all know how obsessed I am with being vulnerable and how powerful that is. So I am working through it, and successfully, I might add. Anyway, so just to get back to what I'm talking about tonight. So tonight I was talking about sort of my biggest manifesting shift, like the thing that has allowed me to attract circumstances, people, events. In fact, I've just had one this evening, which is just very exciting. It's something to do with a book, which I'm super excited about. And my goal for this year was to feel good most of the time. Now, that seems like a pretty, mediocre, I suppose, goal, because most of you that know me will know I'm a pretty happy person anyway. But I don't want to just feel okay. Like, my goal for this year was to feel connected, alive, excited, abundant. Hey, Anne. Mwah. Abundant, excited, just alive, interested, motivated. That's how I wanted to feel more often. That was pretty much my goal for the year, because I knew that if I had that as my intention and I had that as my goal, that all good things would come from that. And so instead of having material things or financial things as a goal, I had feel goals. Like, that was my main intention for the year. Hey, Ruth. So it was feel goals. That was my goal. And so my goal pretty much daily has been to feel as good as possible. Now, what happens when you're trying to feel good is usually the shit hits the fan, or you get thrown a curveball, or whatever you want to call it. That's what happens. And I've sort of had a bit like day like that today. But the biggest thing I've learned in my study of law of attraction over the last sort of 6 to 8 months is to be less conditional. And what that means is to not focus on the conditions that you are in the moment. Because there's something that happens, and this is where I'm going to bring a bit of neuroscience into it, which I find absolutely fascinating, is that we all know that sort of when I've got notes because the pronunciations of the hormones that are released, I'll probably slip up. Hey, no one's perfect. So what I mean by not being conditional is that if the shit is hitting the fan around you and you focus on what's happening around you, you are reacting emotionally, which is normal. We're human, there's nothing wrong with that. But if we don't nip it in the bud quickly, that can have a long-term effect. So shit hits the fan around us, something goes wrong, and we emotionally react. Okay, hey Harry. So we emotionally react to the shitstorm that's happening around us. Now, what happens when we feel stressed and worried is we release cortisol and I'm going to say it wrong. Epinephrine, I think is that. I probably got that wrong. Anyway, they're the two hormones that release. So they're our stress and our worry hormone. And what happens then is that takes blood away and attention away from the resourceful part of our brain. So what happens is that we react emotionally, the hormones are released in our brain, we can't think clearly, we can't function, we're less resourceful, our imagination goes out the window, so we can't find a way out, and then we make a bad decision. We make the next wrong move rather than the next right move. And if you're not aware that that's all that's going on, our brains are just there they function to keep us safe. And if once you're aware of what's actually going on in your brain when stuff like this happens, you can take a deep breath and just be like, right, okay, this is just what's happening. Okay, this is what I need to focus on. So instead of focusing on the conditions, and I know that, you know, I'm saying this like it's easy. It isn't easy, and I haven't, you know, I only managed it today at about 5:30. Most of the day I've been stuck in land of stress. However, I'm aware of it enough to know that I knew I could get myself out of it, and I did. And so what you have to do is focus on how you want to feel. So, okay, so if you want to feel better, and this isn't about going from complete stress and worry to complete joy. You've heard me talk about the emotional scale before. It's about just reaching for something that's a relief from where you are. So, for instance, today I was feeling stressed and worried, and so the first thing that I reached for was, okay, look how far you've come, look at what you've achieved so far, and this is going on in my head. Okay, so you are far further than you were a year ago. And so you go, okay, that's good. I'm starting to feel a little bit proud of myself. Proud is good. And then you can move on. But by just being less conditional on what's around you is how you achieve happiness and calm, and how you keep from de-stressing, you know, from getting stressed out all the time, is being intentional about how you want to feel in any given situation rather than reacting to everything. And of course we all react. I did it the other day. Somebody said something to me and my knee-jerk reaction was a negative one. But once I'd given myself 10 minutes to sort of take a deep breath and just think about it, actually it was all right. And so I'm not by any means perfect in this area. But it's definitely something I have developed. It's definitely something I'm better at than I used to be. So I just wanted to make you aware that when you're trying to manifest or trying to create something or trying to be more successful or happier, is that you have a choice. Every single time you have a choice on how you respond, because it's not what happens to us, it's how we respond to it. And, you know, you wouldn't be human if you didn't have emotional reaction. You wouldn't be human if you didn't have a knee-jerk reaction. But it's how long you stay there and how deep you go down that rabbit hole once you're in there. And we all know people who just something little insignificant happens and then it, you know, fucks the rest of the day up, excuse my language, and they end up in a foul mood for the rest of the day. Well, they've done that by choice, simple as that. But it's not necessarily a conscious choice. So think about neural pathways in your brain, and our beliefs. And actually, this is something that I learned today. A belief is just a group of cells in your brain that have become connected and reinforced. And actually, it's true, you know, so what we believe might be true to us, but it's not the truth. So we are all, you know, what does a baby believe when the baby's born? Nothing. Our beliefs are formed by our parents, our teachers, our environment, our the television, news, now social media, you know, our beliefs are built around that. And everybody has different beliefs, and everybody has their own worldview. And so real awareness and on the subject of not being conditional is like looking at a situation and not believing that it's the end of the world. Something bad happening and you're not going, oh, this is just typical, this always happens to me, I'm not lucky, I don't get, you know, I knew this would happen to me. All that kind of language is based on a belief that you are unlucky, or that you are a bad person, or that you don't deserve good things to be happening to you. All those are beliefs. And they're reinforced. Hey Hannah, hey Yolanda, hey Claire. They're reinforced by the evidence that we look for. Because we do. We look for evidence to prove ourselves right, because we like being right. And there's something in your brain called your reticular activating system, your RAS, which is in the front here somewhere. And it looks for evidence to back up what you're thinking. So it's the thing that activates when you are trying to get pregnant and you see pregnant women everywhere. It's the part that activates when you've been to test drive a car and suddenly that car is everywhere. You've heard me talk about that before. So we will look for evidence of being real. So when I'm saying, you know, don't be conditional, is just take that moment, okay, the shit's hit the fan, it's all going wrong, but actually this isn't the end of the world. How do I want to feel now? Well, I want to feel resourceful. I want to be able to work my way out of this. I want to not let this ruin my entire day. And once you can be aware that the more you focus on how you want to feel and be the less conditional you get about your happiness. So happiness is an inside job. It is nothing, absolutely nothing to do with external circumstances. Yes, external circumstances can mess it up. Hey Hannah. Hi Louise. Yes, external circumstances can get in our way, but fundamentally we have a choice on how we choose to process that information or process that situation. And the biggest shift for me in the last 6 months has been actively, intentionally choosing my intention for the day, of how I want to feel today, and also preempting what could trip me up. So think about it, right? If you, your intention is to get up and feel great, like I'm going to feel motivated, excited, happy, joyful, funny, fun, sexy, whatever, that's your intention for the day. And then in the morning you just think, what could mess that up today? I'm going to swear then. Like, what potentially could mess that up today? Okay, work if you hate your job. If you hate your job, change it. Just change your job. But no, seriously, change your job. Life's too short. But what could potentially mess it up? Maybe I'll bump into that person that really irritates me. Okay, well, I'm just going to maybe go 5 minutes earlier and avoid that person, or go 5 minutes later and avoid that person. But even if I'm going to see that person, I'm just going to smile sweetly and I'm just not going to engage in conversation. Or if they do, I'm just going to let it go over my head. So what potentially could mess up your vibe? What could kill your vibe today? Think about it and then prepare for it. Because then when it shows itself, you go, okay, what already messes your day up? So let's say that you're thinking, yeah, Charlotte, all right, fair enough. I hear what you're saying. I'll set my intention for the morning to feel great and to be on sort of a higher vibe than I normally am. But then you know that the morning routine in the morning with the kids is an absolute nightmare, and it always stresses you out, and you don't set your alarm to get up any earlier to cope with that, then you're setting yourself up for a fall. So you've got to think about it. And you know, personal development isn't something that I keep going on about this, but you don't just read a book, watch a video, or go to a seminar, and then just that knowledge goes in and then boom, you fix. That's not how it works. Like, it's work, but it's great work because it makes you feel better. And if the ultimate goal is for us all to be happy and to feel good, then that's pretty much, it's great work because it focuses you on feeling great. So set my intention for feeling high vibe and wicked. What potentially could mess that up? Prepare for it and avoid it, or deal with it in a different way, or come at it with a different attitude. Like, the thing is, the great thing about this is like what could potentially mess it up is that if you make a little list, well, if the kids are late, that'll really irritate me, or if I bump into this person, they'll really irritate me, or if he hasn't done this, it will really irritate me. You can also manage your expectations about that. Because how many times do we piss ourselves off because we've got an expectation of how something's going to be, and the likelihood of that happening is very unlikely, and we get pissed off about it because we don't communicate that. So I'll give you an example. So you go to work and you'd really love your fella to have cleaned the kitchen up, loaded the dishwasher, maybe started tea. But that's not what happens. So in your head you've gone, I want to be nice. Or you've heard another girl at work say, oh yeah, my husband always makes the tea and the house is always clean. That's me. The house is always clean when I get home and the tea started. He doesn't do tea, but he does do the cleaning. And you go, oh, you know what, in my head, like, I wish my fella did that. And you start bitching at him in your head. And you've set up this whole scenario in your head that, God, wouldn't it be nice if he just did that? He doesn't appreciate me. And then you go home and he's not done that because he never has done that, and that's not who he is, and you've not communicated that's what you want. And then you go mental at him and get bored and get irritated. So we actually set ourselves up for so much irritation in our own head. So, the thing that's manifested the most amazing things into my life is setting my intention and not being conditional about what is going on around me, even if the shit is hitting the fan. It's just going, right, okay, the shit's hitting the fan now, but that's not how I want to feel. I want to feel like this, because this is what's coming, this is what I'm excited about, because even though the shit is hitting the fan here, around my feet, it doesn't change what I'm aiming for. It doesn't change how excited I am about what I'm doing. It doesn't change even if it's stress related to what I'm doing, the end goal I'm still excited about. So I'll deal with this, like this is okay, because the end result is something I'm really excited about. So don't be conditional about the present situation. Think about how you want to feel, where you want to be, where you're going, and how far you've come. Focus on that. Releases the dopamine. It releases the what's the other one? Serotonin, which is your happy hormone. You then feel happy. That then activates the resourceful part of your brain, the imagination in your brain. You think, okay, wicked. This situation is not actually that bad. I'll just do this, and it's sorted. Drama over. Stress levels released. Let's crack on with the day. And then when you're in that frame of mind and you're vibrating at that energy, then shit comes into you and opportunity comes and great conversations happen and people smile at you, and all of a sudden you've changed a shitstorm into a beautiful day. And that is pretty much it, she says. So just to recap, be less conditional about your situation. Think about what you do want, not what you don't want. Focus on that. Know that when you do that and you visualize and think about what you want to feel, what you want to do, how you want to feel, how you want to be, and how it's going to feel when that happens, it releases your dopamine, it releases your serotonin, which is your happy hormone, which then makes you more resourceful, makes you feel more happy, and therefore you make the next right move rather than the next wrong one, and then good things happen. Manifestation and the law of attraction may sound like magic to some people, and it really is, but actually it's a very practical thing. Is that if you are head up in a positive frame of mind, feeling good and feeling happy, it is inevitable that good feeling, happy things, opportunity, conversations, people, events, circumstances will come into your existence because you're looking for it, you're expecting it. If you're pissed off and stressed and swearing at everybody and beating yourself up in your brain, your head's down, your demeanour's, who's going to want to offer you an opportunity? Who's going to want to have a great conversation with you if you're vibing at Mr. Pissed Off or Mrs. Pissed Off? It just makes sense. Anyway, so that's it. I think that's all I had to share. Quite a quick one tonight, but I think a good one. So, be less conditional. If the shit's hitting the fan, so what? It's okay. No one died. Hopefully. Apart from that, that's pretty much my motto of life. Everything is figure outable. I don't care how difficult this is, I am going to figure it out. And the thing is that this is coming from somebody who, at school, I was the least academically bright out of all my friends. I'll never forget coming out our maths GCSE and me feeling really super proud because I thought I'd got this question right, and they'd all put something else and I'd put the wrong question, and I failed. So my confidence level on sorting stuff out and working and thinking I can learn stuff has always been very low until recently, because I've realised that anybody can achieve anything and learn anything if you want to. Everything is figure outable. If you don't know how to do it, trust me, there is a YouTube video to show you how. So don't ever think I can't. Think about your language. Think about what you're saying to yourself. I can figure this out. I am bright enough to figure this out. I am good enough to figure this out. I will find out and I will learn. And if the need is there and the want is there, you will learn how to do it and you will find out how to do it. That's got a bit off-piste at the end, but that's where I'm at today. Just having one of those days. Anyway, my gorgeous ones, thanks for listening. Thanks for your hearts and your laughs and your loves. And yes, anybody interested in more information about my program, then please inbox me. I will be putting a link to my group. Hey Rach! Mwah. Hey Kimberly, hey Claire. My group is growing very well. I'm so excited. There's loads of really lovely people in there. We're having lots of fun. It's still February Love Month, so we're focusing on our self-care, self-love, self-worth, all that malarkey. Yeah, so I'll post a link to that if you think anybody would benefit from this, my little pearls of wisdom on a weeknight. Then please tag them or do anything with it or want to share it. That would be great. Claire Snap just makes sense. Thank you. Just signed up to LOA course. Give me more info to add to my experience. Yay, Claire! I will give you some information on that. So anyway, thanks everyone for listening and tuning in. It means the world to me. It is nice to think that somebody's actually listening and actually enjoying what I'm doing. So thanks a lot, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.